right, everyone, we are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining me as always is none other than my co-host Avira.
Ow! Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're having a fantastic day, and hope you had a nice holiday week. You know, it's cool. Last Sunday was not only Easter, but also the start of Passover and Ramadan at the same time. So if you celebrate any of those holidays, uh, yeah, cool stuff.
Absolutely, it's so uncanny how the timing seemed to have just all lined up.
Yeah, I don't know if
Month.
it's done that in my lifetime before. If it has, I haven't noticed before, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. And to those who celebrate, never forget the significance of what these events mean
hmm
to you.
Unfortunately, I had to work on Easter, which is weird because Christmas is a federally recognized holiday, so I was off for that, but I wasn't off for Easter. So you're telling me the birth of Jesus is a federally recognized holiday, but the rebirth of Jesus is not? I'm sorry, I don't understand that, but whatever.
I mean,
Join the
down
club
here in
a bit.
Australia, it's both of them are nationally recognized as public holidays. Plus, you
No,
get
no.
Monday.
So Easter Day itself, Easter Saturday is, but in my state, the Easter Monday isn't.
In here,
In the United
we get
States,
Easter
they
Monday
usually
off as a
recognize
public
Monday.
holiday. So long weekend. Anyway, next on the panel is always our interim host, and we said, oh, and I forgot to put everybody's taglines in. Noble.
Hey!
And this morning, the Magic 8 Ball has to say, ask again later.
Okay, alright, fine. Well, let's do that then. The Magic
Right,
8
that
Ball
means
has spoken.
we should be using you as a monolith of wisdom.
Uh,
All right, and next on the show we have Astro.
Yo. What's up? Of
Hey man, great to have you back. How you doing?
course. We're good. It's a nice day out finally.
Yeah,
Winter
seriously.
is behind us. But as we know up here, winter can rear its ugly head in the middle of May, so I'm not going to open my mouth up too much.
Yeah, don't jinx it, man. We've had some pretty nice weather here the last week or so. Spring is, definitely here, so that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been crazy where you guys are at. Like, and I thought I was the one that had hormonal weather down here. Dude, past week, literally cold enough to the point where I had to turn my electric blanket on to go to sleep. Like, it wasn't even meant to be bordering on winter this month, but hey ho.
If there's one thing I've learned in life, everybody has their own opinion on which place has the worst, like you said, hormonal weather. Michiganders will say that they have bipolar weather. Us in the Great Northeast, it really depends on who you ask.
well, with how far south I am, I'd say we've got bipolar weather down here when it really kicks up a stink. But down here, I've had to put my heater on. Otherwise, I have trouble breathing in the mornings, and it's not very good.
Well, my hormonal weather just manifests in having a temper tantrum for rain, and then just having all the energy puff out.
Yeah.
Around here, the saying is, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, sure, that's a good one actually. Same thing in Florida, dude. Like, my parents live down there, but when I visit them, it's like it'll be a torrential downpour for like 5 minutes, and then the sun will come out.
Usually at 5:30, right?
Pretty much like on the dot. Yeah, like every
Yep.
day. It's crazy. It's so weird. It's like
It's the way
it's been clear and sunny all day. Then all of a sudden it's dark for like an hour, and then it passes, and we're like, oh, okay.
It's the way that airflow from the ocean and from the Gulf meet right in the middle.
Yeah, and they're pretty down south too.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of weather changes, Jolt, I know it's getting colder by you, but what did you do last week?
Well, Easter
What
break.
happened?
It's I actually enjoyed a nice, blessed, warm, cool day on the beach, and more than that, just a waterfall. I went up for a drive, not too far up north, with my best friend for my Easter break, and it's good to be back in purple, baby.
Right on.
Yep, went down to a one Rudy National Park, and those limestone beaches, man, those limestone rock beaches, they're something else. Plus, I'm obligated to be a goofball.
Oh my goodness. Why do you always do precarious things, man? Like, that looks so risky.
End up in the drink.
It's so cute, though.
Oh, I did.
Oh no.
And, forget about fishing with your, fishing rods. Fishing with your tail is where it's at.
Yeah, just lure him in, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's precisely it.
That looks nice.
But no, I should show you why this. But no, it's great though. It's we got the blessed weather. We got all the ocean breeze. It was just a nice day out. Straight up. And
All right.
yeah, I bet you'd be hard pressed to do start with something like, dude, this is so.
Oh wow.
Are you trying to do that Lion King thing?
And this is why that was so memeable. No,
I was about to say, it looks like Pride Rock.
It's like I actually wanted to do some funny whatever pose, and I thought about the Lion King thing. I didn't come to my mind until I realized I was so up there, and it was like, yeah, this is so meme worthy.
And your friend who took that picture, it looks like he's pretty far away. Like, that must have been quite some hike. Is there like a trail, or like did you like climb up the rocks or around it, I guess?
Well, I actually just climbed up directly up right up the rocks. It wasn't so high, but yeah.
So now you're going to make me want to pack my suit next time I go down to the Baja.
Do it,
Some
man.
neat photogenic spots there.
I have, I keep mentioning, that a lot of fursuits spend 90% of the time inside and in cons and all that stuff.
Yeah,
The rest
right,
of
right.
it do out, out there.
Yeah.
I reckon you should go. Take your suit out to the Baja.
Well, my dad's down there now at his house. He's been down for the last 2 weeks with a new girlfriend. And yeah, well, it's nice to see that, he's not going to be alone for the rest of his life. They're coming back Sunday. Boy. Never a good way getting flights back into Albany.
No.
I've never flown to Albany, but I've driven there before. I think I was on a Boy Scout trip years ago.
I've had people invite me to conventions like in Kuala Lumpur or Tai Tales or something like that, and I'm looking at flights and it's like $4,000 out of Albany, but $900 out of Kennedy or Newark.
What the heck?
Yep.
That's bonkers.
And I'm like, do I really want to drive 3 hours to Kennedy?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Do I really want to drive 3 hours to Newark?
I'd rather not spend $2,000. What the heck? No way.
And I'm talking stuff
That's the
like
pain of
Cathay
regional
Pacific.
airports, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to lay over at a big airport, catch like Cathay Pacific or something like that.
Probably end up landing at Singapore.
Uh,
If not that. Anyway. But to continue on with this. Alright, you see. Yes.
Wow. Oh, it's a moving picture. Okay.
Yes.
See, now
it
all
is.
you need is a giant wave to come in and
No.
Oh, it happens. Oh, it happens.
Oh, that's so nice. Were the rocks slippery at all? They kind of look dry.
Yeah, a bit.
Oh, okay, now I see. Oh boy. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
You see, there's places like that along the Pacific side of the Baja where you got to watch, especially some of those Pacific waves that come in.
Mm.
You get some of those 12-footers, 13, 20-footers coming in. I've seen so many people get splashed hard standing on the rocks.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't have anything like Pride Rock here on Long Island. Everything's pretty flat.
No,
Pretty
here, at
darn
least-
flat.
I mean, yeah, here we get the calm beaches, and then you get the rough-shod, rocky beaches with all the lime and the stuff have eroded, and it's
Yeah.
just both. But I welcome my new abode.
There you go.
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little like makeshift tent. It's perfect.
All right. Yeah, I used to build stuff like that.
That almost reminds me of the scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where they're on the island and the ship is burning in the background and all Jack cares about is the rum.
Oh, yeah. Why is the rum gone?
Why is the rum gone?
Oh, the remix to that is amazing.
Oh,
But no, that was that beach was great though. It's lovely, fantastic, with its own thing, guys. And also the kids called me Spyro.
Oh, they did.
Out loud.
That's so cute. Oh my god. Spyro, look, mommy,
I
it's
just embraced
Spyro.
it, and the kid was like, "No, I'm never washing this hand again."
I can't believe it's Spyro, mom. Oh yeah, at that point you just go with it. Like, yes, of course, I'm Spyro. Take that, nasty Nork. That's awesome.
Yeah,
oh.
100%. But that wasn't the end of it though. There's another place I went to at first. You're gonna love this. I'll present this image to you with all the context and all context removed. No context.
Okay. Oh,
Text.
okay. So you're like in it.
Like I said, presented without context.
Mm.
Wow, it almost looks photoshopped for some reason. Like you look clearer than the water in front of you, which is, that's interesting. Like it was focusing on you, I guess.
It's like I throw the suit into the waterfall.
Okay, my theory is you probably slipped on one of those rocks, got halfway wet, and then you're like, "Oh, screw it, I'll just do it anyway." Like at this point, I don't care; it's too far gone. And you're like, "Yeah, let's just take a picture under the waterfall. Screw it."
Next, you're going to see him out on a surfboard at Shipstern Bluff.
Probably, right? I don't know. Surfing. Have you ever seen a fursuit surf before?
No.
I don't know.
It's fursuiting on a surfboard at Shipstern's Bluff.
Oh.
That's taking a risk.
I mean, surfing's taking a risk too.
First sitting on a surfboard, full stop.
Exactly. Especially some of the good surfing spots where you're like literally 4 feet from the reef.
And anyway, you should have the answer to that question, that picture now. You should.
Oh, okay. This is
Yeah. See how
This is the
slippery
backstory.
it really was? Yeah, it was actually so slippery down there. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh, your poor
It
tail.
was slippery. The soil had so much clay. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you're not. Oh, okay. That's like an optical illusion because you didn't actually go in the water, but it looks like you were. Like you walked behind it. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense now.
Nah, but it was actually great. Like the waterfall was only like what 10-15 minutes from the hotel I was staying at.
Nice.
So like, but it was up north though. So all up, it was still a long journey. But I say long journey, I actually mean it's not quite at the same time. So yeah, you should see just how much of a big dirty mess this really was. And I was like, should I full suit? Should I not? Nah. You understand why?
Oh, cool.
Luckily, it's freshwater, right?
Yeah, But you should see how much clay and all that was like there. It was like it was just going on my tail and all that, and I was like, how much clay was in there? Just washed it all out. Fuck.
Have you been to that park before, or was that your first time?
I know it was my first time going to that national park, but
That's
and
really
the
nice.
falls there too. It's nice and great. And the last thing I do want to show you before we continue the show is I found a portal to the abyss in the park.
A portal to the abyss?
Yeah.
Oh.
No step.
Yeah, just one step. Don't try to stop me. I'm going to the abyss.
That's pretty wild. Like,
You're
where's
really
it?
trying to flush it, aren't you, Joel?
You get flushed like on Men in Black 2, right?
Flush me, Jay, flush me.
Flush me, Jay.
And I'd be like, nah. But yeah, I'm guessing that probably drains like under the rocks or something. And wow,
It looks like a very. It looks
are
like
those
a
shoes
precarious
waterproof?
sinkhole. That's what it really is. It just looks like a precarious sinkhole.
Yeah, pretty much. Were there any fish in the water?
No, not that I could find any fish. It was just a little nice little stream.
Hmm.
But and it's just mainly known for its waterfall and what have you. But yeah, like good amount of people were out there.
Yeah, looks really nice.
People swim in the waterfall, and as much as I would love to say I just had a waterfall shower, yeah, technically
You
I
should
did.
take photos and go to like Hawaii to one of the volcanoes.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that's like the next adventure, like walking on lava. I don't know about that.
Yes.
Yeah, you can play that game like the floor is lava, but literally.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You'll be
I like the
scurrying
way
up
you
the
think.
nearest tree.
I like the way you think. That's probably the next stop right there. Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
All right. So, shall we get into the meat and bones of the show now? Now that I've had a great Easter break.
Sure.
All right, Avira. I know, like I said, like Noble was saying, I think you'd be the right person to lead this one out.
Okay. What were we starting with again?
We're starting with shall we start with the Bud Light saga?
Okay. Oh boy. I thought this was a joke at first. Like when I saw this meme, like with Dylan's face on the can, I'm like, no, this has to be like Babylon B levels of craziness. But no, it's real. And I think over the last week, Bud Light lost like $6.5 billion in stock because everyone is like, what the bonkers is this? Yeah.
So just to start off, they used Bud Light opted for Dylan Mulvaney to be this brand ambassador in celebration of 365 days of girlhood.
Right. And then Dylan made this video about a week or so before this happened. Or no, I think it was around the same time. Whatever. Dude, it was so creepy. Like I literally thought he was trolling. What's happening with the world, man? And it wasn't just Bud Light either. Okay, yeah. This looks like a. Oh god. So, sales of Anheuser-Busch bottled products dropped 30% over the past week, while drought beer plummeted 50%. Ouch! What were they thinking?
I've heard rumors that this particular individual isn't actually transgender and they're more taking the piss out of it. And just
Yeah.
been going with it for so long now.
That does seem to be the conclusion a lot of people have got to, yeah.
It's one of the things that I sort of get irked about when it comes to like woke and LGBTQIM people. It's just everything has to always be solid positivity. You can't turn around and have a neutral negative or just turn around and say, look, you clearly taking the piss out of it. Go away. But no, you just have to keep encouraging it. So,
I mean, he met with the president. What? Why? For being a TikTok influencer? What the hell?
God.
He's popular at this point. So what do you think is going to happen?
I didn't expect the leader of the free world to talk about trans rights for kids. That's kind of out there, but, you know, we got other stuff going on in the world, I guess.
So I've been hearing about that. That's the first time I've seen any images, and I don't know if I got anything that'll be able to contain my head explosion around here. Because half this garbage these days, I don't know if there's anywhere in our galaxy that's safe from these people.
It's creepy, yeah. Did you see the vice president? She's like, the first woman vice president of this Anheuser-Busch company. She made this video, I think it was a couple of days before this ad came out, and she's like, we have to be more inclusive. And she pretty much made fun of anyone who drinks Bud Light. Like, it's frat boy humor, it's lowbrow, and it should be more inclusive. But it's like, yo, people just want to drink a beer. They don't care about your gender politics. Like,
I think someone needs to sit down and read the book called The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Sun Tzu.
Get woke, go broke.
They never learn though, but they still keep doing it.
And then wonder why their stocks are down so much.
And then, did you see, like, just a couple days ago, they launched a new beer called Ultra Right.
Seriously?
Yeah. And again, that's something you'd think is like you'd think that's satire, right? Oh, Ultra Right beer, okay, like that's funny, but no, it's actually freaking real. That's crazy.
Well, that's why I normally don't drink anything from Anheuser-Busch.
Well, I mean, Bud Light is pretending to be a beer, and Dylan is pretending to be a woman. It makes sense that we would have that. He's the perfect person for it, if you ask me. But
people used to call a light beer like that Panther piss.
I never really liked Bud Light, unless it was like the only option.
I want craft
even
beer.
then, you have to choose between that going down your drain or going down the toilet drain or the sink drain.
Yeah, I'll just stick to water.
That's why I like my craft brews.
I mean, I got choice for all these beers, and even the internationals actually make good beers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good, like, dark German beers out there.
I'll drink Tecate over Bud Light.
I mean,
But what were they thinking, man? Having this person as their spokesperson, like, if you live in like freaking Missouri, hey Hugh, you hear about this? And what? Like it's not relevant to anyone. I don't know.
The things I wanted to speak about this is, first off, it's a known marketing ploy to try to get people to buy more of your product. Effectively, it's to create the initial shock and awe of the whole woke ideology. People will then en masse throw away a lot of your shit, and then we'll go back to buy a whole bunch more of it. It's effectively a marketing technique, and it has been somewhat successful with some other companies. My theory is that the company's seeing this as a good thing because the price, their stock market has obviously dropped, and a lot of people have gotten rid of their product. Now, you will find that some people will go back and they'll buy it, but others may finally decide to actually give it up. I would hope that this would effectively cause the company to crash long term, simply because, well, you want to give beer to people who don't want to drink. You want people to buy your beer that generally don't want to drink beer. So good luck with that.
Oh god, that's funny. Yeah, even the VP on that video was saying that she wants to include younger people too, get them to start drinking. Like, well, okay, at least you're taking your position seriously, but this is not the right way to do it.
In the process of seeking out new customers, they alienated 80% of their existing customers.
What was really sad, though, is there's a video sort of going a bit viral where some guy that works for a company that solely stocks Bud Light in stores is just, well, he's not getting paid anymore.
Well, I saw that. Well, I'm sure we all saw that viral video of, I forgot the name of the guy. He's like some musician or something. He like used it like a freaking machine gun and just blasted a bunch of Bud Light. I think it was Kid Rock. Was that his name?
What pisses me off is a lot of people don't realize that by destroying, by throwing away, or by doing something just wasteful with the product is not actually helping what you think. You're only helping the company long term. What you should be doing is taking that product back to the place you purchased it from. And even if you can't get your money back, just inform the salesperson that, no, I don't want this product anymore. I'm not interested in having possession of this. Take it back. I don't care if I get my money back or not. I don't want it. Now, Avira, out of curiosity, because you work in a shop like this, if customers en masse started bringing back products and they didn't care if they got their money back, but they just wanted, the store to take it back, is that something that the store will still do, or?
Oh, you mean like, yeah. In fact, well, if customers did that, they would probably also write some kind of letter to either corporate or something. And if this happened too often, it might be a malfunctioning product, and then we'd take it off the line, of course.
But say, for instance, people en masse brought back Bud Light to the store.
Oh, I wouldn't even know how to handle that. I'm like, okay, sorry. Like, what do you do in that situation? Shit, I don't know. Like, I didn't make it.
Here's the thing. With Gillette, if people, instead of throwing out their Gillette razors, stuck them into envelopes and then sent them back to corporate, saying, I don't want this anymore, that's going to be a bit of a different message.
Yeah, that could definitely that might cause some change. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this boycott already. I mean, it's lost about 4 to 5% of their stock price, pretty much. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
But the problem is that it's being seen as positive by the company because the idea is that it will take a turnaround. Whereas if people were asking for either just take the product back because I don't want it, or demanding a refund, if they legally are allowed to, do that, that would prove to be a bit more of a dent.
Like, here's the thing: are those people, like, you look at this whole campaign, and it's like, is Bud Light actually pursuing capital or social capital?
I think they made a boo-boo, and they're kind of trying to circle back a little bit and be like, and correct their mistake, because they've been silent on social media for like a week.
Well, now finally they have a response. They have been silent, but now the CEO has made a response to that.
Oh, it took him long enough.
Took him long enough, and he has the CEO statement. Look at that, our responsibility to America.
Control plus times, Jolt.
They're trying to be so virtuous. It's like, dude, you sell beer.
Talk about damage control.
How high and mighty do you have to freaking be?
You need to be a bit more accurate. It's not they're selling beer; it's that they're selling terrible beer.
Yeah, like I had the displeasure of tasting it once. Ugh.
Like I've said, if anybody who is watching this in the future, if you come across the same sort of thing about a product that makes you feel uncomfortable simply because of the message they're trying to push, return the product. Even if you can't get your money back, don't be rude about it. Don't be aggressive towards this person. Just say, the sales representative, just say, look, I don't want this product anymore. I don't care if I can't get my money back. I just want you to take it back from me. And then walk out of the store, leaving it on the service desk or whatever they call it in America. Or whatever country you're in.
Customer service, whatever.
Be polite. You can be a bit angry, but don't turn around and start shouting and threatening the person at the other end of the table, because they're not the ones responsible.
Man, this is the most whitewashed, like, corporate sounding nonsense of a statement. Oh God, they say so much without saying anything.
Exactly.
Like, oh, my country, I care deeply about this. We're learning from our customers. Like, but what?
All right.
It's word soup.
See, I'm in a bit of a different position here because I don't necessarily have an opinion on how to handle that, because I'm, on the building materials side of retail, and our vendors know damn well that if they ever went kind of a woke message like that, they would lose their shirt. They would get right out of business. Nobody would buy their product anymore. You wouldn't see any builders using it, whatnot, because the builders would be sensitive to that. And if they see a political message in the product that they're buying, especially on the far left, they won't buy the product. And then, of course, we might get a little bit of a shit for that because we're selling the product, in which my dad would say we're stop selling that product. But, it's just because I'm not in the food and beverage retail. I'm in building materials retail. It's different. and most everybody in construction is not batshit insane left.
No, they're not that sort of minded. Like, so,
No.
supplying construction materials is a whole different story.
Mhm.
They're all pretty conservative.
I'd have to wonder if any building company would try to go woke to try to attract, the
Certain
woke
home
crowd.
buyers.
They wouldn't dare.
No, not home buyers, but certain woke individuals into the construction industry.
They wouldn't dare.
What would Bernie Sanders be funding, like communal housing or something?
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's okay.
You always still had the thing with Jimmy Carter going around doing Habitat for Humanity. That's one thing, right? But if you got Bernie Sanders doing it, oh boy.
Oh man, he's such a goofy guy.
Ugh.
But I don't know what were they thinking? Seriously, Bud Light? Like, come on! Like, you're a freaking beer company. Dylan didn't even seem like he cared. If you saw the video, he's like, "Oh, I heard it's for March Madness. I think it's something about sports. Ha ha ha. Whatever. Go
They
team. I love you." Like, he's such a oh my god, what a character.
They weren't thinking. They certainly weren't thinking about their bottom line.
I guess not. But then Nike gets on board, and like all these other companies, like he's making $1 million a month probably just for prancing in the woods. I don't know. I don't get it.
Hmm.
I'm not saying I'm jealous. I just don't get it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I do.
Because seriously, like, oh god, man.
Like, if you
Well-
didn't know any better, I think this must have been like one elaborate troll.
I thought it was a Babylon Bee article when I first saw it. I'm like, there's no way. This has to be some kind of a deep fake. There's no freaking way that Nike would have this guy prancing around in a sports bra. No. Like, that looks so silly. And it turns out that's true, too. And then in protest to that, there's a bunch of, like, women online burning their sports
that whole
bras now.
saga, it
Oh my
really
God.
spilled over.
Oh, it's spiraled, man.
Yeah, now they're like the women are now doing a challenge on TikTok called burning their bras.
And
Right.
feminists used to do that back in the day. Remember? Back in like the 60s and stuff? Like women's free, like they literally had like bra burning stuff in the street, like for I think it was second wave feminism.
Oh, that women's lib stuff, yeah.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah.
circled back, I guess. Only they're protesting a guy. I
From
guess.
Roost.
But wait a minute. Men can get pregnant nowadays in 2023. So,
Jesus Christ. And these are the people that say trust the science. Okay.
and I think the women's lib movement people would totally be against that whole idea.
Well, yeah, because that's a sacred right of women, females, to give birth to children. That's like the miracle that, of course, like that's an inherent thing, right? Everyone knows that. But
It is.
nah, I guess we live in a different world.
Unfortunately, women want to be
It's upside down.
different. Women want to be men now. Apparently,
Having a fetish about being someone of a different gender is one thing, but forcing others into it,
Yeah.
that leaves me a bit concerned.
At first it was tolerance, then acceptance, and now it's like they just want domination. Like it's really getting to a scary
That's-
point.
we're at the point in the cycle that you have they want to subjugate you, or like if you don't agree with their beliefs, then
Oh, Vera, it's always been about BDSM with that group. It's
Well,
just
yeah,
more
that
reciprocate.
autogynephilia, I'm sure a lot of them have that too.
Hey, there was still that story of the one of the originals from the Stonewall riots that was up protesting this garbage up in Montpelier with a sign that he had ripped out of his hands by these kids, I guess. He was curb stomped to within an inch of his life. He's damn lucky that he was able to survive this, all because he was protesting how this whole, I don't know what you want to call it, has co-opted the gay rights movement.
Yeah, the radicals. Yeah, he's right. He's so right. This happened even in the furry fandom. Like we're not even safe from it.
Yep. See, the thing that a lot of people have trouble explaining is that this particular group wants to turn around and say, if you are labeling yourself as furry, as whatever sexuality, you have to think a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, and you have to act a certain way. You go outside of that boundaries, and we're basically going to end you.
Yeah, in
never-
fact, you get canceled by your own friends. Sick.
It never used to be that way.
It's not friends, though. I mean, it's just some sort of shallow group get together that people pretend to like each other. I see it in person a lot, and it pisses me off. I get it. You want to have a positive experience, but turning around and doing something. I seriously can't wait until we get another doomsday death cult that turns around and gets everyone to drink some magic liquid and they all basically keel over. I mean, it's literally how the level of stupidity I'm seeing of people here. It's just insane. And an alcohol company trying to turn around and say, we don't really want to, find out what our drinkers actually like about the product, why they drink it. No, instead, we're just going to throw out something that we think is going to help us and just let the ball roll down the hill. Well, congratulations.
Well, to their credit, it got people talking about it. But
Oh,
I guess negative attention is still attention, right?
The Streisand effect.
Yeah, but this is like a negative version of it because it's not like people are going to something that was banned and now they're curious and want to see it. It's more like, oh, look at this crazy crap going on. Let's go laugh at that. Right?
See, this is the crazy stuff that you would have almost expected to hear. Oh, the dog. You'd expect to hear like on Coast to Coast AM. You know, that's how crazy kooky this stuff is, and now we're living it in real life. You know, it'd be like, 2:30 in the morning, they're talking about this crazy stuff with George Norrie. Now we're actually living some of this. It's crazy how upside down the world is now.
Astral. Something you need to understand is that I would talk about this stuff prior to 2020, what I was seeing online.
Right.
And a number of people in my state of Australia were telling me that this is in America. It is not going to come here. Well, I'm sorry, but now you can actually buy the book in Australia from a school supplier that's called This Book is Gay.
Oh, I've seen that. Yep.
I take issues
God.
with the contents of showing how to get an adult aroused and then convincing the reader and giving light instructions on how to go about accessing websites for adults for dating. So, yeah. Take it what you will. That book's basically pedophilia. I would buy it to show other people. It's just I don't want to get arrested.
It's just, yeah. And this is the whole thing where my dad used to say, "You're so open-minded, your brain's going to fall out." Well,
That's a good one.
yes.
I love that. Okay, can I use that? I'm going to use that. That's awesome.
There's a lot of things that he's coined that I hear a lot on the internet lately.
Oh, man, it's so true.
It is.
It is fascinating to see the levels of things people will allow. So, for instance, now apparently shooting a black person at a school is perfectly acceptable if you're transgender.
That was scary. Yeah.
Makes me wonder, though, is how far certain advertisement companies are going to want to stretch this sort of thing. Because violence is being committed at such a more interesting rate when it comes to this particular group, whether or not you'll find, whether it be a jewelry company, a watch company, or whatever, turn around and just talk about how, well, if you want to go out and stomp someone to death who doesn't agree with you, buy our product while doing it. Show pride.
It's the episode of Rush Limbaugh's TV show from the 90s where he had all these ribbons on his lapel making fun of what we now call virtue signaling. You see all these ribbons on my lapel? I have them on here because I care. Look down at your lapel. Do you see any ribbons? No, you do not. That means you're a bigot. That means you're a racist. That means you're a white guy, and he was just doing it to make fun of this whole, before we even called it virtue signaling. And you know what? He was exactly right. That is exactly what's happening today.
Yeah, social media. Instead of being like ribbons and stuff, now it's about how many retweets and likes you have. It's crazy.
Social capital, basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
who else? I've seen a couple of photos of Bud Light in the Raiders chat a couple of times. and it's the every other beer is sold out, but Bud Light's basically, they can't get rid of it.
Still in the
Yeah.
shelves.
Yeah, it's the only one left.
See, if this company wanted to go sort of like the whole woke thing, I'm surprised, and I have to wonder how much cheaper it would have been if they decided to host a couple of events, invited the local woke people, and just have like, you want to come here? Are you old enough to drink? Oh wait, no,
I thought
sorry.
they actually somebody actually did that. Like to go back to the whole virtue signaling method. One news outlet
Yeah.
basically found somebody on Twitter saying, Noodles saying that they would take all the Bud Light, and then they just said, "Bam, take that, you boycotter, you boycotters."
Oh wow, like they're trying to balance it out. Yeah, okay.
Oh no, they're just doing that for social capital.
Of course.
Remember? So yeah, like I see
The
your point.
backpedaling is so hard, you can smell the oil on the chain burning up.
Coke,
I
Coke.
just wonder how far is this gonna go? I mean, like how much further can it possibly go? I mean,
We haven't seen the end of it, right? Let's just say.
You will be surprised.
I'm
if I were
surprised
you-
every day.
Yeah, if I were you, put your seatbelts on. So, join us along for the ride. That's that. Now, there's another to move on from this saga. There is one other item that I've wanted to talk about and that we haven't had time to cover, and it's from the tabletop series that can't seem to catch a break. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, please tell me what they've done this time. I actually still have to look at seeing the movie, but I'm debating whether or not to actually pay for it.
I heard it's actually not too bad.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no,
Dungeons and
no.
Dragons
Oh,
to
this.
remove half species from player's handbook. Claims the entire idea is quote unquote inherently racist.
Huh?
I have to say this. When it comes to, I'm going to use the word here, half breeds. When you turn around and say that that's racist, well, I kind of think you're the racist because you take issue with one side of a person. Why?
I don't. This is the same problem they had with the orcs. They were comparing them to black people. Okay,
But
first
no,
of all,
that's
who's
not
doing
the
that?
That's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is like a half finger, like half orcs. You got
Oh, I
half
know.
You've
Yeah,
got
well-
half elves.
That's how it
Half
started. Yeah,
wing.
now they have the half breed.
I'm literally holding on to my head right now to keep it from exploding.
But how are they going to change this? Because there are like half breeds in this game, like just
Right.
lore wise, Like there's like even in Lord of the
Yes.
Rings, like Elrond is half
Like
elven.
I
Is that
said,
racist?
The
there's
online
stipulated
version?
this too.
Is this the online version of Dungeons and Dragons?
This is like the 5th edition.
Oh. See, I remember
So-
kids used to play it, like when I was a kid, they used to go in the cemeteries and do this.
So how do they justify this? It says our team are game designers and storytellers. We're not experts in culture and inclusion. Okay, well, if you can write fantasy, that whatever. So we're focused on what damage should this creature do, and that's everything that goes through inclusion review. Now, so everything in our game brings out delight. Aw, even reprints are going through inclusion review. Oh my god, that sounds like some 1984 George Orwell type of shit. That's why some older books are changing too. Dude, they're changing the books too. I told you. Oh my god.
Oh shit! I am kicking myself right now. I walked into an op shop last year, I think it was, or the year before, and there was an entire collection of D&D books for like $2 or $3 each.
They're gonna get Dr. Seuss.
I should have turned around and bought all those bloody things. I could have made a huge ass profit. Shit.
What does it matter? These are fictitious characters. What does it matter?
And also, who is complaining about this? I'm offended because there's a half orc, half wizard. Huh? Who is upset about this? I don't get. Yeah, half elf. Okay, that's cool. Like, what's wrong with that? Isn't that more inclusive? Fuck, I don't know.
A friend of mine was playing Dungeons and Dragons as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, no. Out of all seriousness, though, I forget which country it was in, but Darth Vader, at least someone dressing up like him, tried to become a politician.
Yes. That was somewhere in Africa, right?
I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds familiar. So they're gonna have to change the books and change the game again.
They just say, yeah, there's an update to this, and to note, here's what they've come up with: whole new mechanic to this. The half species system will be replaced with the new children of different humanoid kinds mechanic.
That sounds so boring and like proper.
No,
Oh,
it
the
sounds,
children of different humanoid kinds. Like, what?
that sounds like a clusterfuck of word salad.
That's the political correct term for just a half species. I mean,
So-
oh,
I should probably put this out, but because of the how you play D&D and different methods of using it, I have noticed that there are a lot of modern people who are getting into the idea of playing the game. So my assumption is that a lot of these players have turned around and said, look, we take issue with this type of terminology. We take issue with how certain groups or species are represented inside of D&D. We want you to change it. And I'm not saying that in a polite way. I mean more sort of screaming, shouting, and threatening. So, threatening to blow up a building because you don't like the way a certain character is probably not the best way to go about getting change.
but I guess they caved to the radicals because they're even saying it's inherently racist. I'm sorry, I don't see any racism here. It's just characters.
You must be pure breed to be in the 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons.
What's going on here, man?
This is just going to turn people off of Dungeons and Dragons.
No, the problem is that the individuals who are calling for this are going to play the game, but it's going to make you wonder exactly how much money they'll make from the actual franchise itself. Because, as has been shown in the past, when you alienate the previous audiences, your profits generally seem to, settle down. Because the stories aren't really that good, things will sort of drift off and you won't have the profit, you won't have the engagement that you try to seek.
And if you think about it, D&D has been around for a very long time. I think almost 20 years, right? 15, 20 years, something like that. So
Longer.
All over that, even.
Did it come out in like the 80s?
Yeah.
No, but I mean like the online version. But yeah, I guess D&D was around, I think since like the 70s or 80s, like as a board game.
Yeah. Please excuse the dog. I don't know what
But
he's doing.
this is just very upsetting. I mean, they're just...
But here's the thing: they've come up with this new thing. Like they're saying that they're not going to completely eliminate it, but they're going to come up with a new system.
1974 was the original.
Okay,
That
wow.
is a long.
But that's why they've been going for so long, and now that everything's online, they have to like change with times, I guess. Someone on their marketing team thought it was a good idea. I don't know.
The marketing
it's
team
way
are fucking
through all the
hilarious.
shit,
Woke marketing teams.
Not just that, but they had the whole OGL thing, the open game licensing, that they want to like have full judicial control over who gets to use the D&D license and all that.
And that's what I was thinking of, Joel. That was a baller.
But anyway, let's look into what they've done with this whole new mechanic that is children of different humanoid kinds.
Oh god.
So for this new system, rather than creating characters whose mixed lineage grants them some unique appearances, traits, and abilities, players will now simply base their character stats on only one of their parent races. While the only elements actually affected by a character being biracial are their appearances and natural lifespans.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
I don't think anybody's going to play that way. No.
I'm sorry, but hang on. Wouldn't they also have certain traits and abilities from both parents?
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Hardcore Dungeons and Dragons players are not going to go along with this at all, period.
Yeah, like being half elf sounds cool. Sure, why not? Is that offensive somehow? The heck?
How is it offensive? They're fictitious.
They're humanoid beings of a particular whatever the hell they said. Oh my god.
So it's like
My
this.
brain is just going to explode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it goes like this. If you'd like to play the child of such a wondrous pairing, Choose 2 race options that are humanoid to represent your parents. Reads the current rule set. Then
Okay.
determine which of those race options provide your game traits, size, speed, and special traits. You can then mix and match visual characteristics.
But that's just
Finally,
taking away options. Sorry.
yeah. Finally, determine the average of the 2 options' lifespan traits to figure out how long your character might live. Includes the very
Children of different humanoid kinds. I can't get over that. This is real. They're really doing this. Jeez.
I guess the
It's
term
like-
race is really racist.
I don't know. It's just sure they're fictional whatever.
Yeah,
What's
and like
next?
genetics is weird, yo.
What's next? Calling a mixed breed dog mutt racist?
Probably.
Yeah, that could be called greediest.
Yeah.
And when is it going to spread into furry when you can't even be a mixed breed anymore because of this?
You can't be a hybrid species, like you can't be a wolf.
Oh no. Yeah, you're an anthro of different anthropomorphic kinds. Sure.
We're trying to
And
make, I try not to make sense of this anymore.
You
And
can.
next thing you know, you have to choose between like the visual appearance of either a fox or a wolf.
Yeah, you'd be like,
to incorporate it
I'm
into
half
hybrid
fox.
species.
I'm half fox and half wolf, but I'm actually just a total wolf. Whatever. Lineage means nothing. So doing this is actually taking away the options, because isn't it kind of interesting to see like what kind of pairings you can get with different stats? I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
What would be interesting is if a set of rules were set up for what could be passed on from parents, whether the parent was themselves mixed
Right.
or, well, pure blood, what the offspring would be and what your character would be. It would be really fascinating to see a list of rules and percentages for that, and then applying it to an algorithm and just having it, you say, well, you want to have this, this, and this, and then it just spits you out something that basically hits those rules. That would be fascinating, to be honest. Although for some reason, the idea of not having that sort of control seems to be offensive to, like, woke people for some weird reason.
This is about as bad as them going through and wokeifying computer code so that you can't have it say master or slave anymore when you're describing an IDE bus. Or, God forbid, you have a male and a female connector.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
What I found fascinating, there was an algorithm set up to try to make job search more fair, and for some reason, it was more focusing on getting white people and Asians through, and not blacks. And I'm like, gee, I wonder why.
Oh my goodness.
Fucking
I wonder why.
retards.
Maybe there's people saying that certain you guys are so intelligent, are onto something. Shh, but we can't
Goodness.
say that.
Well,
No,
let's-
it fell down to the fact that the algorithm was looking at education,
Yeah.
and that's
also
where they
another
fucked
inherent
up.
thing, education, intelligence. That was the point I was trying to get across. Was that intelligence and education are kind of maybe correlated.
What intelligence?
Ah,
Maybe this everything going on these days is why we haven't had extraterrestrials visit, because they scanned the Earth. They scanned the Earth and they reported back that no intelligent life was found.
The other thing is they could have found it, could have seen what we're doing and gone, we're not going to invade this planet just yet. We're just going to let them screw themselves.
They're just
over
going to
and
nope their
Sunday."
way. They're just going to nope their way back to their own star system.
Oh, Joel, can you bring up that article again? There's a really funny quote that I have to read.
yeah.
Okay, so this is here. Wait.
Is that at the bottom?
Oh, okay. Here we go. It says notably, despite taking the time to offer this clarification on D&D's new rules, Wizards of the Coast has yet to offer any reasoning as to why the concept of half species is, as Crawford claims, inherently racist.
Right.
So even they're saying like they don't even have a reason. It just is.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just is. And all Crawford says is, frankly, we are not comfortable and haven't been for years with any of the options that start with half. The half construction is inherently racist, so we simply aren't going to include it in the new player's handbook.
So one thing that concerns me is that if you browse libs of TikTok, you'll come across teachers who turn around and they'll find mixed racial children, preferably the black and white type sort of married arrangements. And the teachers will tell tell the student that their parent who's white is bad. is a bad person.
Yeah, well, there's a
Now,
lot of indoctrination going on.
if I want to turn around and figure out if someone's racist or a group's racist, I'll basically look at that as an example.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots! I mean, shit.
That's
That's what the
what I
Wizards of the
heard.
Coast sound like.
I heard somebody tell me that their grandchildren going through school were their teacher was telling them that Christopher Columbus was a bad person.
Did they
Yeah.
say why?
What?
It really has gotten to such a crazy level. And recently, of course, the last couple of years, you've seen a lot of these teachers, like on TikTok and on social media. You know, they're like these millennials with rainbow hair and a bunch of piercings with pronoun pins and crap, and like they're teaching the kids all this stuff. It's like kind of creepy.
I'm sorry, but when I see Wizards of the Coast and what they say, they just sound like they're being racist without actively targeting a particular demographic in real life, instead targeting their own material.
So are they against mixed races, or does everyone have to be a pureblood? See, that kind of sounds backwards if that's the message they're going for,
Yes.
right?
It could be the adapting of terminology. So, for instance, over time, slang, a word will change. So, for instance, if you were to walk up to a baker in the 17 or 1800s and said, "Hi, I want a couple of fags, please," most people will think at some point gay. If you're Australian or I think British, you'll be thinking, a cigarette. But you're not going to get either of those two. They'll just hand you a couple of sticks.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I do find it so bizarre that, again, like you said, claims to be anti-racist, does becomes racist by
Yeah, and then they do a racism. I mean, everyone must be pureblood. No mixed race allowed. I don't know if that's the kind of message I should be promoting there, but okay. It's just so
Sorry.
backwards.
This is just insane. I had no idea about how deep this went until today, and I'm kind of glad I didn't actually read, because I would have burned through my puns by now, way before this podcast.
You know, they'll never be happy. There's nothing sacred.
Dude.
Do we have to save you now because your brain is fried?
Yeah,
My brain is fried. I think the more this goes on, the more I read, the more brain cells I lose.
More brain cells.
I suppose anyone who's watching this and they want to mock us for, disagreeing with this, tell you what, try do a bit of wordplay and replace like elves and orcs with black, with white, and then ask yourself if these comments would be acceptable that way. Because if they're not, then why are they acceptable using, metaphors?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because communism and socialism requires classism. Remember the whole thing with like the bourgeoisie and the
proletariat. Yeah.
Yes, socialism and communism requires classism. You can't get around it.
And then some more. But
Democracy is supposed to be the great equalizer for allowing people.
Democracy is in its twilight years.
That's why we're supposed to be a republic. But oh, God forbid, don't say that. You'll offend people.
I'm sorry, but giving people the ability who, one, can either get together with others and do something that helps make money, preferably something that doesn't end up killing a bunch of people or making lives miserable for other people. But I digress. And uplifting them if possible, great, but 50-50 on some shit.
Nah, and this is why you just stay in and do, tend to problems in your own backyard first.
Oh, I can't wait.
No.
D&D, do they have guillotines?
Maybe not. It's a fantasy world, after all.
Could you imagine if D&D started bringing out guillotines that you could use on certain races?
Oh God,
I mean,
that would be crazy.
Oh, you want to have a guillotine for orcs? So every orc that comes by, you take their head off. Oh, shit! I think I'm giving you too many bad ideas.
You mean. But alas, we have come to the end of the show. That's all the time we have for this week. Whew. Wow. The descent continues.
Yep.
And who'd like to just say a bit of a closing statement for the weeks that's passed?
I'll go for. Oh no, sorry,
Okay.
Vera.
Yeah, here you go.
All right, I'm going to ask the Magic 8 Ball: is today's podcast going to go down well in the future?
Hmm?
Oh no, I should ask again. Screw
Wait a
that.
minute. It said try. Oh, it's playing you around.
Ask me again. Fuck that. Shit.
No, maybe we should ask it again for in the years ahead. Has this aged well?
All right, will this age well? It is despectively so. Oh shit, this isn't going to be good.
Deceptively so. Maybe
Deceptively
somebody
so.
will go back to the archives of the internet and one day realize, well, we were right all along. We should have followed our wisdom. Yeah. All right. Who's up next for a closing statement?
Well, it appears as though my dog wants to make a closing statement, but he's been barking at stuff all night. But yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster of a year again, I'm sure. I'm just, like I said, I lose more brain cells every day. I just don't. But thanks for having me on again, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great.
Ivira?
All right. As much as I may disagree with the crazy bonkersness of Dylan Mulvaney, you have to give him some credit, though. I mean, like in less than a year, all these sponsors, like talking to the president. I don't know. Maybe he's onto something.
Maybe like what he did is just basically destroyed the woke brands in and of itself. Like
I don't know, man.
The clowns have destroyed themselves.
It would be hilarious if in like a month from now.
They have clowned themselves, basically, right?
Yeah, there's that. And I don't see anything wrong with having mixed races or breeds and whatnot in fantasy games. It's Tolkien, it's Narnia, all that kind of stuff. So I don't really see the problem with that. I just think that they're getting way too woke and it's just harming business. And a lot of us normal people are really kind of sick of it. It's like, okay, enough already. Like, we get it. But yeah, I'm hoping people start coming to their senses. Check out that beer, Ultra Right.
Or buy anything that's not Bud Light.
Yeah, seriously. All right. I'll hope to see you guys next week.
Indeed. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we made it. As always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Play.fm, iHeartRadio, BitChute, more further down the line. Now, if you'll excuse me, I will now step into the hole that will guide me into the abyss. Anyway, to formalize this, I shall now say this is us signing off for the week. Farewell, and until next time.
Later.